Hey guys, what's up? Lewin here at Garageband and Beyond. Today I'm going to be doing a review of the iLoud micro monitors from IK Multimedia, and then next week I'm going to be doing a giveaway of these exact monitors. But I needed some time. They sent these to me about 4 months ago, I'd say. So in those 4 months, I just wanted to make sure before I made a review for you guys that they were good. I wanted to listen to music that I like. I wanted to mix on them. I wanted to use them in my studio. I feel like a lot of times you see these reviews and the guy just like opens it up and hooks it up and goes, yeah, they're great, and doesn't really have any experience. So anyway, I have a bunch of experience now with these little monitors. And don't forget, we're doing a giveaway next week, so watch that video and that'll be a fun contest. So anyway, the iLoud micro monitors from IK Multimedia retail around $299, okay? So right out of the gate, you might go, ugh, that's kind of expensive for a small micro monitor. Yeah, you're not wrong about that. However, you do absolutely get what you pay for in this particular case. That is not true amongst all equipment in the recording industry. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. But these things are very, 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 very impressive. My first impression when they came, I really thought they were going to be sort of like glorified, hyped up computer speakers. No, that is not at all what they sound like. You can completely remove that idea from your mind. It's totally untrue. These sound like recording studio monitors. Now, albeit small monitors, so there's not a ton of, they're small. They don't sound exactly like big monitors. However, you can most definitely mix music on these little monitors. That is the thing that I thought was most impressive. The low end is phenomenal. They do go down to 55 hertz at -3 dB, which for a speaker this small, very, very impressive. They're 25 watts to a side, so 50 watts total. Plenty of power for any, small mobile or home recording studio. Plenty of power, 25 watts per side, totally fine. These things get very, very loud. The low end, I don't know, I'm sure if you've seen speakers like this, you're like, oh, the low end always stinks in those. It's never very good. That's not true here at all. I have a pair of M-Audio BX8s with 8-inch speakers in them, and I would say that these little speakers translate the low end almost identically as my 8-inch speakers. I don't know how, I don't know why, but it's totally true. All the low end in the kick drums, bass guitars, whatever it is that I'm working on, if I can hear it in my big monitor, I can most definitely hear it in this little monitor. So do not worry about any missing low-end information on these. -55 hertz is, very, very low. You could use this to mix any kind of music. So these are indeed very useful monitors. So I do think that $299 price point is $299 price point is totally dead on. I think for $300, you're getting excellent monitors that are portable, lightweight, and small. So if you're like, if that is like top on your list of stuff like that your monitors need to be, definitely check these out. If you have a way to listen to them, feel free, go listen to them. They're awesome. You'll be impressed. If you don't have a way to listen to them, make sure you watch next week's video because we're going to do a listening contest when we give these away. So anyway, let's look at the back of these because there is a bunch of switches and we should talk about that, okay? So if you go across the back here, we'll just go from the top down. So the first one is the big knob is volume, no brainer there. The little one to the left of the volume is for Bluetooth pairing, and then below it you have the positioning EQ. So the top one is flat or desk, right? So if you have these sitting on microphone stands, you would have them on flat. If you have them sitting on your desk, you'd have it set to desk. Now, below those two switches, there are more EQ positioning switches. One's for the low end and one is for the high end. Pretty simple there. You do have RCA inputs. There's a link so the two monitors can communicate with each other. Power switches, power supply, all that kind of stuff across the back. Nothing too fancy back there, but it is nice to have a couple of EQ switches to customize the sound for your space. Always nice when you have that kind of stuff. One thing I should mention about these is the high end on these. Now, in no way, shape, or form do I mean to imply that they are dull sounding, okay? They are not dull sounding. But if I had to compare the high end that comes out of this to my BX8s or my BX5s or any other typical silk tweeter, the information that you get from like a nice large silk tweeter is really crisp. I'm sure you understand what I'm talking about. There's lots and lots of high-end information there. One of the things that I've noticed in comparison to my main monitors to these is that the high-end is not as nearly pronounced. It's not gone by any means. You still hear the high end. You definitely hear it, but it just doesn't have all of that like really crispiness to it. So that took a little bit of adjusting as far as when I started mixing on them. I would go back and forth and I'd be like, wow, the mix sounds so bright on my big monitors, but when I get here, it's like, is it bright enough, you know? So I did have to learn, like any new set of monitors that you get, you do have to take time to understand how they work and how they recreate sound in your space, right? So the high-end thing is just worth mentioning because it's just not really crispy, which is fine. Totally fine with me. It makes it easier to listen to these speakers for longer periods of times. I have been, it does surprise me. I've noticed myself, like I reach over and I turn these on way more often now than I did like when I first got them, because now I trust them. I know what they sound like, but I've just become accustomed to them. And also I can listen to them for longer because I just don't feel like I'm being blasted by my big monitors. I don't know, you know, if I have to give these a rating, like amongst all monitors out there, I would give these a solid like 8 out of 10. Solid 8 out of 10. These are extremely good. And in fact, I'd probably give my BX8s a 7 now that I've heard these. I kind of like these better than my BX8s. But as far as small monitors go, I'd give them a 10 out of 10. I haven't heard a better micro monitor available. You guys, there's not much else for me to say except they're really good. They're much better than you might have already thought. Like if you've seen them coming across your, your browser online somewhere, something like, oh, tiny monitors, I bet those things sound terrible. No, they do not sound terrible at all. Every single friend of mine that has heard music coming through these has been totally impressed. I mean, you know, there is no mistaking. If I switch between these and my BX8s, my 8-inch monitors, there is no mistaking which one is on. However, next week, I'm going to put these up against the BX5As, which are the older model, but still I feel like represent a pretty wide berth of monitor sound. So I'm going to put these up against some 5-inch speakers next week in the listening competition. We're going to choose a comment out of that, and we're going to give you guys, whoever we choose, is going to win a free set of monitors. So if you need monitors, you know, get on the commenting of next week's video, and hopefully you win. But besides that, if you guys have any questions or anything, please leave them in the comment section below. I do like that and like answering your questions. But in general, these are great speakers, definitely worth your time. If you're looking for something small and portable, I give these 2 thumbs up. Without a doubt, you will be impressed. You will absolutely, positively be able to mix music on these. Oh, one last thing I should add. A lot of people, you know, you guys know that I use the Slate Digital plugins. One of the most common comments I hear from people who have gotten that on my recommendation is like, I can't hear those plugins working. Are they really working? If you can't hear those digital Slate plugins working, it's not the plugins, it's your monitoring system. Something about your monitors is not up to par, and you just can't hear some of that fine detail stuff. For some reason, through these, I hear the changes in my plugins way more, like those subtle, like if I turn on a tape emulator, if I turn on the virtual channel mixer, anything like that. You know, it's harder to hear those changes on my big BX8s, but when I use those Slate Digitals, I hear the changes so much more through the iLouds. It is very strange. The only thing that I can attribute that to is the fact that I feel like these have more mid information that comes through. I hear more of the mids in these speakers than I do in my big BX8s. So that's it. They are very, very, very good. And I think you should check them out if you need small monitors. Or even if you're looking for, if you have a pair of main monitors and you're like, I wish I had like a second set of speakers to listen to, get these. These are small. They're really easy to, you know, they're super easy to install. They don't take up a lot of space, obviously. But these are an excellent choice for a second set of monitors. I would highly recommend them for that. Or your primary monitors, or at all. You want to just listen to them like normal speakers for Bluetooth, you know, totally fine as well. They're much better than you think. That's it, okay? I don't have anything negative to say about these at all. I try to do that, but so far I have not found one negative about these. They're loud, plenty of low end, very nice silky high end, not too brittle on the high end, plenty of mid information, bunch of good switches on the back. They're good monitors. What else can I say except you should check them out? Okay, so you guys, questions, comments, leave them in the section below. Find me on the Facebook page if you can. If you feel like hitting that subscribe button or joining me over on the Patreon page, I would really appreciate the Patreon page getting visited. You know, GarageBand and Beyond is something that I love to do, and I really like making videos for you guys, and people on the Patreon page support my channel and help it continue on. The more of you that I can get over there, the more videos I can make, the more content I can put up for you guys. But it does really, a lot of this stems out of those Patreon patrons. So everybody say thank you to them, because they're keeping us afloat over here. And if you're not a patron yet, you're sort of just benefiting from all their donations, or their patronage, let's say that. So I got to stop talking about Patreon. You guys have a great day, and I appreciate you guys watching. Peace.